so excited to have you here join us on this chilly morning with us today. Anybody else again over in affection section, if you want to come on over, feel free to make your way on over here. We are getting started. We hope you guys have already had some fun this morning. Who's done something fun already today? Yeah, what'd you do? You rode the train to here. I love it. I think, if I were to take a guess, I think a few others of you did that too, right? Yeah, okay, I thought so. Anybody seen their favorite animal already today? Nobody's seen their favorite animal yet? Oh no. Well, I promise you, I hope you will see a few of your favorites in our show today. My favorite's getting ready to come up in just a second, so I'm excited to share him with you. I do want to let you guys know, though, this is going to be a pretty interactive show, just so you know. So we are not only going to have animals up here on the stage with me, but some of them are going to be wandering out into the audience a little bit with you guys as well, okay? Just so you know, if you do need to get up and go, we totally understand if you got a fast pass or something you need to leave. If you can just double check with Kay right over here, make sure that she is giving you an obvious sign it's an okay time to get up and go, and maybe not a big giant stomp sign that you might be about to get run over by something. Sound good? Okay, just safety issues first. Yeah, you know. Well, Disney's Animal Kingdom opened back in 1998, but Walt Disney's history with the animal world goes back much farther than that, all the way back to the very beginning when, as Walt himself said, it all started with a mouse. Now, from the beginning, the natural world was a huge source of inspiration to Disney, and that started with Mickey and his friends. The very first color cartoons actually did feature flowers and trees, and of course Snow White had all of her little forest friends that helped her whistle while she worked. And sometimes they even stop in and pay us a visit, like this little fella coming out. Now, Walt even said when creating new characters for his cartoon films, the world of animals was always a huge source of inspiration, and I am pretty certain he definitely gained inspiration from birds like this fella right here. Anybody know who we have here today? Just shout it out if you know it. An owl, you got it. This is Nick, and he is a beautiful owl called a tawny owl. Now, tawny owls like Nick are found in Europe, Asia, and parts of northern Africa. And they actually get their name from that beautiful tawny brown color you can see right there on his back. But coloration for owls is perfect for them for being able to blend in with their surroundings. Now, even with Nick's one good eye that he does have, he can still see about 2 to 3 times better at night than what you and I would be able to see with our own eyes. So definitely vision is key for an owl like this. But they actually have one sense even better than their eyesight. They actually have phenomenal hearing. They can hear the rustling of their favorite food from about 75 feet away. And that's from the stage right here to that tree way over there in the middle of the affection section. So they definitely have great, great hearing to be able to isolate where that sound's coming from. Now, when you add to that the fact that with our owls, they have the ability to fly in total silence. They can sneak right up on anything they're trying to capture. So they really do have an added advantage for being successful at capturing their food. So they definitely do a good job of helping us out there. Now, Nick here is 20 years young, I like to say. He is one of our older owls, but he's a wonderful animal ambassador for a lot of his cousins that are out there doing that same exact job. And we are going to talk a little bit more about that at the end of the program when he comes back out to visit. But he gets to go head back into his nest box so he can finish up his little cat nap if he'd like to. And you guys can get the opportunity to see some of our wild raptors that are flying around the park. We saw red-shouldered hawks here today that are making a visit, so definitely keep your eyes to the sky because you never know who may be coming out to join us next, which is pretty fun. All right, Nick, you did a great job. Now, early on in Disney studio history, animals took on mostly a cartoonish effect. They weren't really the most naturalistic depiction of animals at all. And even with the success that Walt had with Snow White, he still wasn't quite satisfied with the animals. So in the late 1930s, he actually began work on one of the first environmentally conscious films ever. And that was one with no humans in it at all. You know what movie we're talking about? Bambi, that's right. For Bambi, Walt really wanted the animals to end up looking as realistic as possible. So he filmed deer out in their natural habitats. And he even ended up bringing them right into the animation artist studio so they could get an up-close and personal look. And it was here with Bambi that Walt's true love of animals really did begin, and that was with Walt's belief in animals as art. And we have a living piece of artwork making their way out right now. Yes, Jordan, it's you, but also Jordan is going to introduce you to his animal friend.
Hi, guys. Well, everybody, this is Sherman, and do you guys know what kind of animal Sherman is? He is a ferret, that's right. And tell you what, I'm going to come down and let you guys get a little closer look at Sherman. Now, you might be wondering, well, we're just talking about animals as art. You might be struggling to connect the two with ferrets. But I tell you what, ferrets have been a part of Disney animation and Disney movies for quite a while. As a matter of fact, one of my absolute favorite movies has ferrets, or weasels, to be more specific, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. One of my absolute favorite Disney movies. So ferrets are basically domestic weasels, all right? Now, ferrets have been a domesticated species for a very long time. In fact, they go back as far as the Roman army. Basically, ferrets were used in, well, a sport called ferreting. And basically what it is you would train a ferret to go down a rabbit hole, and you'd have the hunter or the dogs or the nets or whatever waiting at the other side of the hole, waiting for that rabbit to pop out. So basically these guys were used for hunting. Now in the Middle Ages, it was actually considered basically a sign of nobility for you to have a ferret or have a ferreter. Because basically, you had somebody that was able to help you bring fresh meat to the table, okay? In fact, not only was it a sign of nobility, but even bigger is if you got your portrait painted with a ferret. In fact, there is a very famous portrait called Lady with Ermine. And an ermine is a type of weasel, but it was actually painted by Leonardo da Vinci. So ferrets have actually been a part of the art world for quite a long time. Bet you guys didn't know that, did you? So, Diana, why don't you come out here again? I'm going to take him back.
Well, just so you know, after the success of Bambi, Walt really did want to make the animal kingdom the focus of his next big project. But I think for this part, I'm just going to let Walt tell you that himself.
One thing has always led to another here, and Bambi was no exception. The wildlife scenes in this research yielded an unexpected dividend. An idea for a new motion picture series we called The True Life Adventure.
Now, the True Life Adventure were Academy Award-winning nature documentaries that focused on animals right in their natural habitats, and it kind of helped us to get to know the world that we live in just a little bit better. For some of us, we were so inspired by these films, we actually decided to pursue a career in the animal programs because of it. But for others of us, it might have been something slightly closer to home. Maybe something more like this little girl right here. Anybody know what I have here today? A guinea pig, you got it. This is Turtle. She's our guinea pig. She looks like a little turtle candy, right? The chocolate caramel. Beautiful. Well, Turtle is a wonderful little guinea pig. Anybody have a pet rodent for your first pet? A guinea pig, hamster, gerbil? Yeah, for a lot of people, those are the first pets that a lot of us will get to kind of get us started off in our love of animals. For me, it was the dogs and cats that I had when I was a kid that really instilled that love for animals that I have in me today. Truly, those connections that we can make when we're little can sometimes carry us right through our lifetimes. And the more we appreciate and care about our own animals at home, of course, the more we're going to be compassionate for the animals that actually are in the wild as well. And believe it or not, every animal in the world has a job to do. Those wild animals all play an important part. But I don't want Turtle to actually hear this part of the show. I got to talk about some of her cousins. And she doesn't necessarily need to hear this part. So we are going to let you head back into the greenhouse. Make sure she's out at earshot range for this part. Now, in the wild, about 40% of all mammals in the world, they're known as a keystone species. Actually, all rodents are known as keystone species. They're an extremely vital role out in the world because they're a natural part of the food chain for a lot of animals, including maybe some of the ones that you met earlier today, even that cute little ferret, believe it or not. Now, about 40% of all mammals in the world are members of the rodent family, but they are an extremely diverse group. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and you guys are getting ready to meet one of the cutest ones, I think, making her way out of the log just over here. When you see her peek her cute little face out of that log, go ahead and shout out what you think she is. What is she?
A singer.
A porcupine, you got it. This is Perry, and she's called a prehensile tail porcupine. Isn't she adorable? Oh my goodness, you can't not love her. She's gorgeous. Now, this type of porcupine will be found in South America, and they spend their entire life pretty much up in the treetops. So climbing a ladder, not a problem. No problem whatsoever. Now, they do use their tail as kind of a fifth limb. They will wrap that around branches and vines that they may come across in the wild to help them get a little bit better grip. But porcupines, what are they covered in? What do they have all over their body? Spines or quills, you got it. Now that is their defense. It's a perfect defense for them. If she feels scared or nervous at all, she actually will curl her body up into a ball, nice and tight. And those quills are going to stand out on end. Anything trying to mess with her is going to come in contact with those quills. And trust me, that is not something that anything wants to do. With these guys, what you can't see, at the tip of those quills, they have these tiny little microscopic barbs. They're kind of like fish hooks. So when something goes in, and that quill goes into an animal, it doesn't come out easily. So if they do learn that lesson, they typically learn it once and don't ever want to experience it again. Now, as cute as she is as an adult, I'm going to leave you with this image too, just so you know. Their babies look exactly like mom and dad when they actually are born, but they're bright orange. Orange like your pants. They're so adorably cute. Look it up. Definitely a cute one for sure. But we've got more fun things coming up, right, Jordan?
That's right. You know, Perry's got a pretty cool defense, but it's not the only way to defend yourself out there. And our next animal, Dillinger, he's going to come out here, and it's a critter I think most of you guys are going to recognize. He's pretty stinking cute. And here we go. You guys know what he is? He's a skunk, that's right. Dillinger's what we call a striped skunk. Now, he's pretty easily identified by that coloration, right? That black and white color. Now, that is his camouflage. Okay, skunks are nocturnal animals. The black color, as you can imagine, is definitely going to keep him well camouflaged in the shadows, but even the white is going to help him out at night because you're going to have some starlight and some moonlight shining through the trees, so you've got that light and dark contrast. Now, we're talking about their defenses. What is that unique defense that skunks have? What are they known for, guys? The spray, right? That stinky smell. You know, you can actually smell that up to a mile away. It's pretty potent stuff. And turns out skunks are pretty accurate sprayers, and they can spray accurately up to about 9 to 10 feet. Okay? So you guys, in the first couple of rows, you are in the splash zone today. Now, there is a little bit of a breeze today, and that mist, with just a little bit of breeze, can carry over 20 feet. All right? So most of you are in the splash zone. Now, I'm pretty sure he's not going to spray today, but if he does turn around and lift that tail up real sudden, I'm just going to suggest nobody make any sudden movements, or y'all are going to be part of the show, if you know what I mean. And I know these guys, they get a pretty bad reputation because of that smell. They sometimes are considered a nuisance animal, but they're very important because of what they like to eat, which are different bugs and insects, all right? It makes up about 70% of their diet. So these guys love eating grubs and things like that. So if you had a skunk tear up your yard, well, that means there's lots of food stuff for him in there, and they're just helping you out. And I think we are going to go ahead and send, see if we can get Dillinger to go home here before he makes everybody a part of the show, if you know what I mean. Hey, Dillinger. Yeah, your time is up. Can you go home for me, buddy? Thank you. He's so cute. And I tell you what, guys, you know, we've had a lot of different animals out here, haven't we? You know, we've had some mammals, we had the ferret, we even had an owl, and it is just a small sample of the diversity that you can find around the park. So as you guys are walking around today, just kind of keep your eyes open, because you never quite know what you're going to find out there.
That's right. Now, Disney didn't stop exploring the natural world with the True Life Adventures. His legacy lives on today through the Disney nature films, and it continues right here in our Disney theme parks as well. Now, Walt Disney himself was a visionary, and he was ahead of the times in the arts and entertainment, but also in seeing the value in the world around us.
Conservation isn't just the business of a few people. It's a matter that concerns all of us. It's a science whose principles are written in the oldest code in the world, the laws of nature. The natural resources of our vast continent are not inexhaustible. But real use our riches wisely, if we can protect our wildlife and preserve our lakes and streams, these things will last us for generations to come.
Walt has such a good message there. We all do our part to help wildlife, and Nick here, the tawny owl, being a member of the bird of prey family, he definitely does his job with rodent control. An owl the size of Nick could easily capture about 1,000 rodents in a single year in the wild. So they do a fantastic job at helping controlling the rodent populations that are out there. Every single one of us has a job to do though, right Jordan?
Oh, that's absolutely right. You know, even here at the park, you guys can help out. In fact, right now, without even realizing it, you guys are helping out by using recycled products. The benches you guys are sitting on, there's over 1,300 milk jugs in every single one of those benches, all right? It's a lot of things that are not ending up in a landfill. And another great way to help out here at the park, if you go to any of the merchandise shops today, you can donate to the Disney Conservation Fund. Now, if you do that, Disney not only matches that donation dollar for dollar, but when you do it, you get a really cool button. It shows that you guys are the stars of the show. And speaking of stars of the show, how about a round of applause for the Animal Stars Day, huh? They've done a great job out here.
The cold weather crew.
Yes.
They did a fantastic
Very
job. Now,
self-coordinated.
if you do want to come up and get a little bit closer and look at Nick, you're welcome to come right up to the front edge of the stage here. You can also visit a couple of our stars right out there in the affection section. Fleming, the sheep that you saw at the beginning of the show, is out there. Definitely go say hi to him. But inside the building at the top of the hour, our next animal encounter is taking place. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we hope you all have a great adventure here at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yes, thank you very much, guys.
How about this?
No!